Welcome to Fluffy Sexy Bitches, and welcome to an SCP reading stream. I just talked to myself a little bit. I just said how long how long it's been since I've done this, and I said the ratings from the last SCP, which I remember I did say that before I was going to for the Christmas holidays away, that I will reach the 700, but then I believe something happened on Sunday, so I couldn't do it. I couldn't actually get all of them done, but now today we'll get the 600th SCPs done. Oh yeah, I should probably send Chillin a text real quick. Little Valkyrie, I should send her a text. There she is. SCP. Yep, that's out there now. Hope you'll try. There we go. All right. Good. I think there's no need to prolong this anymore. Let's get this party in here. Joke bandages. Well, that's already a nice title to start off with. It's a pretty short one as well. My voice might be a little bit short because let's be honest, I did a lot of reading on Thursday and Friday with Dream Daddy, and also I yelled a lot on Thursday afterwards with Liam. So my voice might give up a little bit. I should actually have my bottle of water. That is empty. Oh god, it's empty. Okay, I'll go fill it up halfway. But 69 nice. Oh is a joke bandages is a Euclid SCP. SCP-690, nice, is to be stored in a refrigerator locked container in Sector 7, Euclid SCP containment, with a temperature no greater than 10 degrees Celsius. Access to SCP-690, nice, is restricted to personnel with level 2 access or higher. Experiments involving SCP-690, nice, must be approved by an individual holding level 4 clearance before testing commences. I'm very glad this is a short SCP, because imagine if I said nice every single time to this SCP number, and it was like a 2-pager. It would take forever. It would also get really annoying. I'm probably going to stop after this the special containment procedures anyway. Personnel with any cuts, scratches, or other injuries of the skin are to be restricted from access to SCP-690. Nice. If any unauthorized personnel use a bandage from SCP-690, nice. Security personnel are to be called immediately to subdue the offending personnel and then remove and dispose of the bandage as biological waste. Description. I will stop with the nice now. I think we heard enough. SCP-690, nice. Oh, damn it. Appears to be standard box of commercially available adhesives. My glasses are dirty as hell. I realize this now. I was watching. Where's my box? There it is. I was realizing this as I was looking through them that they are there. Oh, there it is. The moment I thought it was all lost. Alright. SCP-690, nice, appears getting more bored by saying it. Appears to be a standard box of commercially available adhesive bandages, now containing 47 bandages. The logo on the box states that its contents, I need to read a bit slower. I always speed up, and then I manage to slur my words, and then it just goes wrong. Are anti-bandages, box of 64 for the practical joker, and that they are supplied by your friends at the factory. Is it one attainment? Is it one attainment? It might just be one of the day, but I had something deep inside me tells me that. When a bandage from SCP-690 is applied to a wound, it will prevent the wound from healing naturally, aggravating the wound and causing infection. Analysis of the bandage, that is some bullshit. imagine that. Oh my god! Imagine getting like a really like a bad cut because like you didn't pay attention and the knife was like, and you're like, oh shit, and then you put some anti-infection oil, not oil, liquid on it. I forgot what the actual thing is called now. And you just and you wipe it off clean. You get all the blood like to stop a little bit. And then you wrap it up with this bandage. And then next thing you know, you look at it, it's worse. It's just like there's like pus, just swollen hand. You're like, what the hell happened? This is not supposed to happen. I made sure to clear it out properly and wash it out so it couldn't get infected. Analysis of the bandage has revealed that this is not the result of anomalous properties. What? The bandages are composed of asbestos and fiberglass. And impregnated with microcapsules which dissolve upon exposure to body heat. These microcapsules contain a mixture of highly concentrated anticoagulants, heparin, iodine, protifacum, and particularly virulent but not anomalous strains of Streptococcus, Yersinia, Staphylococcus, and Clostridium. A lot of things. A lot of things that this bandage apparently is made out of. But wait, now excuse me, and I know the next sentence is going to probably explain it to me. Excuse me here. If it's not anomalous, then what is it doing in the foundation, eh? And then here it is. The anomalous property of SCP-690 is that they impose a moderate compulsion on nearby injured humans to take a bandage and apply it to their wound. Wait. That they impose a moderate compulsion on nearby injured humans, regardless of the wound's severity. Furthermore, once the bandage is applied, the affected user will believe that the bandage is helping heal the wound and will refuse to remove it. Okay, so that's what it does. It clearly is making it worse, but you as a person just look at that pus-filled, swollen hand, purple shit hand, and you're just like, man, it's healing up nicely. it's use this tomorrow again. The compulsion is not strong enough to provoke violence. However, affected personnel has been quite persistent in their efforts to use or keep using SCP-690. Nice. See test log 690. Nice. A for further details. Addendum. First discovered SCP-690 contained 64 bandages. Following containment, 17 bandages have been removed and used for experimental purposes. Subject D. Blank received a paper cut on his index finger while reviewing his orientation leaflet. Subject was given one strip of SCP-690 and quickly applied it to his finger. Every 5 minutes, subject was questioned about his injury and a strip temporarily removed to observe any physical changes. So here we go. 5 minutes. Subject was asked how his finger felt. Subject said it felt just fine and thanked the observer. Subject's wound failed to close, causing an abnormal loss of blood for a wound of such nature. Oh, so even like, so if you have a little cut here, and it's just like, you all got cut once in our life, so we know that it's just like this little like line of blood, right? It's just like this like red line, and if you press, it might bleed out a little bit. But I imagine now, if you apply these bandages, it just like drops out, like, and you're like, how much blood is this cut causing to lose? 10 minutes. Subject was asked if he had noticed any changes. Subject claimed to feel better. Slight redness and irritation around the area where SCP-690 was applied. 15 minutes. Subject was noted to continuously scratch the area around SCP-690. When questioned about the itching, subject responded with, "It's part of the healing process." When a wound itches, you should never, if anything in your body itches when it's not supposed to, like, I mean, a normal itch is like a sign of irritation, but if there is an area that's itching and it's not supposed to itch, like there's no irritation or anything like that, then don't come to me and be like, it's part of how my body works. Now you probably have some sort of disease or infection or who knows what else. Skin began to raise up around the wound. Subject began to show the first symptoms of a staph infection. Oh boy. 20 minutes. Subject was alerted that he might be suffering from a staph infection. Subject simply ignored the observers. You don't know what you're talking about. What are you, doctors? Come on. Subject fingers continued to swell and a small amount of pus began to leak from the... Subject seemed irritated when taking off the strip. 25 minutes. Subject was offered medical attention for his wound. Subject denied and again claimed he was just fine. Subject began to secrete fluids from the wound which leaked through the strip. Swelling noted to accelerate. 30 minutes. Subject began to become distressed due to his constant observation. Requested to be alone. Denied. Swelling and moisture on subject's skin caused a strip of SCP-690 to fall off. The strip was reapplied and subject's finger was wrapped with gauze. 35 minutes. Subject was asked to take the bandage off, to which he refused. Observers alerted subject that he would be terminated if he did not comply. Subject continued to refuse, and observer had to take the bandage off and was met with no resistance. Testing concluded. NA. Post-experiment, subject asked for another bandage before termination. I can't just get another one of these bandages, please. No. Oh, God, come on. Why? Why must you? Why must you? I just asked for a bandage. Okay, well, this is... Listen, I always like SCPs that take the mundane, typical thing that you have in life. You know, like, there's so many SCPs that like they just take something that you're like, oh, this is how it works, but it does the opposite. I have a weak spot for these SCPs. Where's my laptop? That's definitely going to come into the potential SCPs that I can make a video out of. I'm going to be right here, guys. So yeah, this is definitely one of them. Because it's easy to do, it's fun, a fun idea to do. It can be a very short, like 5-minute sketch, you know. Yeah, this is great. I love it. I like it a lot. I think it deserves to be made into a film. Well, short film, of course, not an actual feature film. I don't think you can make a feature film out of joke bandages. I mean, you can try. You can definitely try, but I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I feel like after potentially half an hour, you run out of material to work with. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good one to make into something. Just answering this Discord real quick. Okay. Now we have... I'm not gonna do the nice bit anymore. Like, I just did it for the first one because I had a 0 to it, so like it was like 690 that worked. But if I do the nice for every single one of these, I'm gonna get pissed at myself. A coward's way out. I was about to say, what's the object class? But yeah, it's right here. Euclid, reclassification to safe pending confirmation from the Foundation intelligence that redacted. Another... Well, now that I expanded it, it's not short anymore, is it? Okay, let me just... do this real quick. Also, I might have gotten a... Yeah, I got a text real quick. I can answer. This is important. I'm sorry about this, guys. Damn. Okay, there we go. Here we go. A coward's way out. One instance of SCP-691, SCP-691-0 is to be stored in a safety deposit box within the Foundation archives at Site Blank. Any other instances are to be destroyed following confirmation that they are identical to SCP-690-0. 691-0, excuse me. Access is restricted to Dr. Blank Blank and her research assistants. Following incident I1, Second-hand recordings of SCP-691 are prohibited unless permission is granted from a member of staff with Level 5 clearance. Please see investigation logs for details of standard experimental procedure with respect to any instance of SCP-691. There are currently 15 identical instances of SCP-691 that are or have been under Foundation control. SCP-691 is a plain blue cassette tape on which is printed Pure Escapism Limited Edition 1 of only 250. Okay. One side of the tape contains a short foreword by an unknown male introducing a piece of music. See Addendum A1 for further details. On the opposite side, Aquarela do Brasil using S.K. Russell's English lyrics can be heard. This particular version is played by a modern symphony orchestra with an unidentified lyric tenor providing the vocals. It should be noted that the foreword will always be played first regardless of which side of the tape is entered into a player, and both pieces will always be played from the beginning. The foreword is harmless and has yet to be linked to any of these the effects of SCP-691, aside from encouraging the listener to turn the tape over. Subject listening to the musical piece have reported visual, auditory, and tactile hallucinations along with a sense of relaxation and well-being. However, it is unclear whether this is due to the nature of the hallucinations or if it is one of the tape's cognitive effects. Hallucinations have always been described as benign by listeners and have not been cited as a direct cause of any psychological trauma. Even though hallucinations vary, they have shown some consistency for repeated listeners. Subjects allowed free access to SCP-691 will eventually become capable of doing little more than listening to the tape repeatedly, in several extreme cases foregoing food and drink to do so. Regular listeners who are denied access will not show traditional withdrawal symptoms. Instead, they will show difficulty in acknowledging visual and aural stimuli. In a few cases, subjects have either refused to or been unable to acknowledge any external stimulus. Interesting. Okay. Addendum A1 transcript of SCP-691's foreword. Hi there. If you listen to this, then I can assume that life has got the better of you. Things didn't work out the way you wanted them to, did they? Sometimes it's bad luck, sometimes it's the cause of your own ruin, or maybe it's just that you're going nowhere. I'm not one to judge. Everybody has regrets. It's perfectly normal. You don't have to lie to yourself. But I'm digressing, so I'll get to the point. I've got some good news for you, sir or madam. I can offer you a way out. No. It's not suicide. You and I both know you don't have the stomach for that unpleasantness. I'm offering you something so much better. Besides, all you have to do, flip this tape over, close your eyes and relax. Think of somewhere nice. Think of the good times. Think of those things you always wanted to do. Now, I can't promise I can give you these, but what I can promise is this. On the other side of this tape, you will find an escape from your own personal train wreck. Enjoy. Addendum A2. All further study on SCP-691 is to be focused on identifying traits associated with its use as per Dr. Blank's instructions. A request has also been made to study the effects of second-hand recordings of -0 at various volumes, approval pending. Foundation Intelligence and a detachment of MTF Alpha 2 are working to identify and retrieve any other instance of SCP-691 that may be available to the general public. Okay, interesting. So it is basically a much like an actual escape of reality. Basically, how like we see movies, music, books, video games, art, an escape from our reality. This is the same thing, but it actually gives you hallucinations of not being the reality anymore, and you just are somewhere else, somewhere where life treats you better, and all that stuff. Most likely, that's what the case is. Okay, person involved, Dr. Blank. Profile: Dr. Blank was a reliable and conscientious Foundation employee. His work on SCP Blank and SCP Blank has been of great use to the Foundation. Testimony from Dr. Blank's wife revealed that Dr. Blank was in substantial financial difficulty around the time of the incident, although it is uncertain whether or not this was a contributing factor to -I1. Report 05 Blank 2000 Blank. I think it's at the time. Okay, so 13 to 25. I think that's the time at least. Yeah, it's the time. The military time. Dr. Blank enters. I'm not gonna read all the time and the date unless the date changes. Dr. Blank enters the cell subject of D 691-25 and begins SCP-691-INV-30. Dr. Blank, so 1331. Dr. Blank concludes his investigation. Actually, that's like, I just say 6 minutes later. So 6 minutes later, Dr. Blank concludes his investigation, and D691-25 is removed from the cell for termination. Dr. Blank reviews dictaphone and transcribes recording. 4 minutes later, they're expunged. Then 8 minutes later, security footage shows Dr. Blank exiting side blank. Gatehouse security reports that Dr. Blank cited a personal errand as his reason for leaving. 12 minutes later, Dash O is reported missing by side blank security. Security footage is reviewed and a retrieval team is scrambled to Dr. Blank's home in accordance with Foundation missing object policy. 20 minutes later, retrieval team finds no trace of Dr. Blank despite a thorough search of his home and the surrounding area. Okay. Dr. Blank's, that's 25 minutes later. No, actually, that's an hour 25 minutes later. Oh, damn. Dr. Blank's credit card statement shows that he bought a personal cassette player from a second-hand shop in blank blank at around this time. Next day, 9:30, Dr. Blanks is reported as a missing person by his wife. Local police department are authorized to conduct a search under the Foundation's supervision. Stand cover story blank blank blank. Then 6 days later, 1722, Dr. Blank's body is found near blank blank as dash O is recovered. Responsibility for dash O is given to Dr. Blank blank. Well, we don't know which doctor died and which doctor is alive, so we just know one of them did. Afterward, post-mortem showed that the probable cause of Dr. Blank's death was hypothermia, brought about by exposure. The body was found with a personal cassette player containing dash O. Foundation leaked standard cover story blank blank blank, and the local coroner court returned a verdict of accidental death as a direct result of this, citing Dr. Blank's fragile emotional state as an exacerbating factor. Agent Blank's report stated that Dr. Blank's death was an indirect result of data expunged. The report did, however, mention that Agent Blank believed that Dr. Blank's life could have been saved if he had less knowledge of Foundation missing object policy, and suggested a review of non-classified information for non-security personnel. All 3 of Dr. Blank's research assistants have since been subjected to full psychological evaluation and have been transferred to projects where cognitive hazards and perceptual hazards are not involved. Sorry guys, just go answer this real quick. Okay, investigation logs. Standard procedure for investigation involving SCP-691 is as follows. Subjects allowed free access to dash O are to be provided with a soundproof, fully furnished cell. Foundation staff entering testing cell are to wear ear defenders. I thought it would be ear deafeners, but defenders? Is that a different thing? Subjects listening to dash O under member of staff supervision are to do so through headphones. All prompts from the Foundation staff should be non-verbal. NB following incidents, I1 Foundation staff must wear ear protection when any instance of SCP-691 is being played. Regardless of the circumstances, sound recording equipment must not be operated whilst any instance of SCP-691 is playing, and only written accounts from test subject are permitted. Okay, SCP-691-INV-1. Date blank blank blank. Time 10:25. Subject dash 1. Procedure. Standard experimental procedure followed. D1 was to listen to both sides of SCP-691 in the entirety and was to give a verbal account of their experience. Report. D1 reports nothing unusual whilst listening to SCP-691-0 forward. Whilst listening to the reverse of -0, D1 describes how the colors of the room have become more vivid and likens Dr. Blank to something like out of a cartoon. D1 reports feeling of complete peace. Subject appeared to take great pleasure is how Dr. Blank was always smiling. Subject appeared to take great pleasure in how Dr. Blank was always smiling, although Dr. Blank's reports that this was not the case. D1 requested further access to SCP-691. Request was denied. Okay. Classified 05 clearance required. And then we have investigation number 10. 951. Subject -7. Standard experimental procedure was followed. D7 was allowed free, undisturbed access to -0. D7 was asked to record his experience via a written journal. In his first entry, D7 describes green pastures and a cool breeze. This is followed by rambling discourse on his feelings of his newfound freedom. The second, third, and fourth entries continue in a similar vein, describing the sights and sounds of what appears to be rural Switzerland. Hey! And involving several more asides on various subjects, including freedom, atonement, and forgiveness, each entry being of deteriorating quality. The fifth entry was illegible and was D7's last. Dr. Blank requests that the investigation 10 be ceased at 1427 on blank blank blank, citing that no more useful information could be yielded. Classified 05 clearance required. Investigation 15 blank blank 10 o'clock basically. Subject D12. Standard experimental procedure was followed. D12 was allowed full access to -0 for 72 hours. After this period, D12 was denied access to -0. Daily interviews were conducted. Reports. D12 reaction to -0 was similar to those of D-class personnel in previous investigations. Dr. Blank hypothesized that D12's reaction to deprivation of -0 would lead to textbook withdrawal symptoms. Instead, Dr. Blank encountered a considerably difficulty when interviewing the subject. D12 was not responsive to Dr. Blank's questions. Other than requests for access to -0, D12 was uncommunicative. An MRI scan of D12's brain showed minimal response to visual, oral, and physical stimuli. An MRI scan taken whilst D12 was listening to -0 showed signals consistent with external stimuli, along with a strong reaction originating from the nucleus accumbens. Classified 05 clearance acquired. So basically, the more you listen to it, the longer you listen to it, the more kind of like in vegetable state you end up. And you don't really react to anything else except this, and this is the only thing that makes you. It kind of reminded me of the One Piece character, Roshia. No, what's her name? Because like Senior Pink had a wife, and she got in a horrible. She had a miscarriage, and she became traumatized. She became a vegetable state, but she only smiled or was reacting to a stimuli, which was when her husband wore the baby clothing, anything that made him look like the baby, and that's when she started to smile. So I imagine like this kind of thing where like your whole body is just unresponsive until you play this, and then it doesn't respond big. It's just like your brain accepts this information and it makes you happy. Now investigation 30, 1325, D25. Standard experimental procedure followed by Dr. Blank requested D-class subject with a general high quality of life, a background free of alcohol and drug abuse, and lacking traits generally associated with an addictive personality. Subject D25 was required via data expunged, and subjected to a series of psychological tests and a precursory interview to gauge mental well-being and to confirm background. Subject was to listen to -0 and was to give a verbal account of their experience. No formal report. Compiled transcript of D25's account is as follows, translated from redacted. Begin recording. Okay, I hear a man speaking. I can't understand what he's saying. Sounds like English. It's finished now. Do you want me to? Okay, doing it. There. I hear music. I don't recognize the tune, but Can you see this? It's a city. It's how I imagined Redacted would be. Well, until those border security people caught us. Elaborate? You mean you can't see it? It's beautiful. Shining skyscrapers, everything just gleaming. This is the Redacted my brother told me about in his letter. This isn't like a city back in my country, Doctor. You have to see this to believe it. I could stay in a place like this for the rest of my life. Subsequent to hum, ignoring Dr. Blank's prompts. Tape ends. Again, I want to go back there again. No, I don't want another medical exam. I want that money you promised me, and I want that tape. Recording ends. Yeah, it looks like even if you're a very happy individual, this will still make you hallucinate whatever makes you happy, comfortable. Oh, I accidentally took the wrong one. Here we go. Yeah, whatever makes you happy, comfortable, makes you wish to be somewhere else. Doesn't matter how happy you are right now. This thing will give you the full feeling of what you really desire, what makes you just feel content, happy, and wishing for more. It's interesting that it's called A Coward's Way Out, though. I guess because, you know, not living in the actual reality can be seen as cowardly, but I don't think so. I feel like I will say this: our reality kind of sucks. And then, especially if you read a lot of books, play a lot of games, watch a lot of movies, where reality is either A, much more fun, B, much more cooler, or C, just much more interesting, then it's not. I can understand why people then decide like, I wish to be in a world like that, you know. So, but I also understand where if somebody were to be like, no, you have to live in this reality. This is how reality works. That is also understandable. But I will say that I don't think it's a cowardly way of looking at life if you just don't enjoy our reality but enjoy other media reality. That I think that's just natural to happen. But oh well. Revives the colors. Our first save. We had 2 euchres and now we have a save. All of them had an extendable pod underneath. That is fun. Let me check if my friends have seen what I want. Live right now. Nope. Okay. Save. Each package of SCP-692 is to be stored in a sealed plastic container. Any cloth, synthetic, textile, or other coming into contact with SCP-692 is to be incinerated within 1 hour of incident, unless it is being used for testing, in which case it is to be incinerated after testing. Security personnel present at testing are to be equipped with standard issue gas-based flamethrowers. Okay. So you gotta burn that shit before it spreads or does anything else. SCP-692 comprises 57 packages of Weißer Riese. It's a white giant. Washing powder secured by the Foundation from a general store in blank Czech Republic and several households nearby. All of the packages belong to the blank blank production series. Chemical testing reveals no statistically significant deviation from composition with respect to Weißer Riese, washing powder of unaffected production series. When an article of clothing exposed to SCP-692 comes into uninterrupted contact at least 15 minutes long with a living multicellular organism within following 4 to 15 hours, the article, referred to as -1, will spontaneously animate. In what way you mean? So like, let's just say I wash my shirt that has a wolf on it, which I have quite a couple now. And then I wear this. Does that mean the wolf on it suddenly starts moving and starts like growling at me? And it's like, and you can hear like a coming out of my shirt. Like -1 at this stage -1 at this stage show the contours of the imprinting organism, although bisection of several instances of -1 has revealed that the inside of such contour contains air at ambient pressure. Excuse me. I'm not tired. Not tired. Don't worry about it. Through an as of now unknown mechanism, Dash 1 is capable of locomotion, manipulation of objects, and at times accretion of more articles of clothing into its mass. Furthermore, Dash 1 with a single nucleating item will behave as a single entity, even if there is no physical connection between the items. The mode of behavior of Dash 1 depends on the length of exposure to the imprinting organism, longer times resulting in a higher quality of simulation. Approximately 3 hours of uninterrupted contact are sufficient for the imprinting of most mammals. Dash 1 are unaffected by most mechanical damage, and as such, incineration is the recommended method of disposal. I'm a bit confused. Let's see what the tests have to say, because maybe that clarifies it to me a bit more. Item 0.5 meter times 0.3, well, 0.5 and 0.3 meter sheet of cloth, impregnating agent, a house cat. Exposure time 5 minutes. Result no effect observed even after 10 hours. Cloth incinerated. 0.5 meters times 0.3 meters of sheet of cloth, a house cat, 15 minutes. 2 hours after impregnation, the sheet has wrapped itself as if enveloping the body of a house cat of equal size to the impregnating agent. Resulting Dash 1 showed no trace of animation. Cutting resulting Dash 1 into several segments produced no adverse effects. Resulting Dash 1 was subsequently incinerated. God. Okay, it's the same thing over and over again so far. 3 hours. 1.5 hours after impregnation, the sheet has wrapped itself as if enveloping the body of a house cat of equal size to the impregnating agent. Resulting Dash 1 has exhibited behavior consistent with that of the impregnating agent. When presented with a live mouse, resulting Dash 1 appeared excited and proceeded to capture and kill it. Resulting Dash 1 isn't adversely affected by machine washing, although doing so appears to anger it. This instance of Dash 1 currently resides within the office of Researcher E. Blank. A standard D-class jumpsuit, the D835, a 25-year-old white male. Exposure time 3 hours. 2.5 hours after impregnation, the jumpsuit appeared as if filled with a human body. The resulting Dash 1 became active when approached, slamming present technician into a wall and attempting to escape the test room. Resulting Dash 1 failed to escape as its lack of digits didn't allow the manipulation of door mechanism and was subsequently inserted by security personnel. Okay, I think I understand now. Whatever the clothing has last touched, the clothing will then become like the person or like the animal that had its last touch on it. I assume that's what is the case. Okay. Now I understand. Interesting. Ugh. Alright. Next one week, here we go. I think I had a voodoo doll like that. I think. I might be wrong though. I will see that there's an SCP that we haven't looked at in forever, so I'm just going to pull out the SCP explained. So let's just get that ready. Naughty Stalker. I see the pun you made there. I understand the pun you made there. You think you're clever. You think you're so clever, don't ya? You think you're so clever. No, Euclid. I think that's the highest rated one so far. Special containment procedures. All instances of SCP-693 are considered safe. Researchers involved in testing may keep an instance of SCP-693 in the office. Why would you ever consider that an SCP? I mean, okay, to be fair, the awesome SCPs are safe and can roam around. That is fair. But I would say You have to be really, really sure if you just gonna keep a couple of them in the office. After incident 693/A/050, all instances of SCP-693 are to be returned to Regulation Containment Locker 12C-K when not in use. As of incident 693/E, all instances of SCP-693 have been reclassified as Euclid. As such, each instance of SCP-693 is to be contained in a separate steel containment box measuring 25 cm by times 25 cm times 25 cm. Each containment box is still to be stored inside Regulation Containment Locker 12C-K. When testing on SCP-693, it is imperative that only hair from the head of the subject be used. At no point should any researcher directly access SCP-693 when it is in an attuned state. All hair should be removed from SCP-693 by the D-class involved in its testing before it is returned to researchers. I told you my voice is a bit rough right now. Description: SCP-693 is a series of 18 cm humanoid dolls, each one made from a single strand of string with beads of onyx for eyes. Several instances of SCP-693 have varied forms of clothing, from string shirts or pants to cloth headbands and hats. The clothing appears to have no effect on the properties of the doll. New instances of SCP-693 are found with an instruction sheet attached, the contents of which are detailed in Addendum 693/A. I think this guy decided to, instead of doing -A, it's the /A for some reason. SCP-693 reacts as a normal string doll until such a time as a piece of hair from the head of a still living human being is placed in a loop of its string, a process referred to as attunement. For reactions to having hair from a deceased individual used, please see Addendum 693/B. At this point, the dolls begin to move of its own volition, portraying the current actions of whoever it is attuned to. SCP-693 also projects all statements made by said individual as if it were them. The doll reliably portrays all actions and speech of the tuned individual for a period of 9 days. Okay, so it's a mini-me. 18 centimeters mini-me, basically. But what happens after those 9 days? 7 days. But 9 days instead. SCP-693 reacts as a normal... Wait, excuse me, I already read that part. After 9 days, the SCP becomes unreliable in both action and speech. Depending on the color of base string, the doll will seek to drive its current owner in this case referring to whomever placed the hair in the doll, not the attuned individual, to his death, by inaccurately depicting the actions of his attuned individual. Colors and actions are as follows. Red seeks to anger its owner into increasingly violent fits of rage. Blue seeks to send its owner into bouts of depression leading to suicide. Yellow encourages its owner to engage in acts of unrecuperated lust. No. Black encourages its owner to do into increasingly dangerous situations. If an instance of SCP-693 is successful in causing the death of its owner, a new instance of SCP-693 will be found on its owner's body. Oh. No. So... Oh no. They multiply by killing the owner, so whoever put the hair... Oh no. The owner becomes a voodoo doll. The Foundation currently has in containment 7 red instances, 10 blue instances, 5 yellow instances, and 1 black instance. Shit. God, I'm not tired. Why am I yawning this often? I'm not tired at all. And there's food next to me. I'm trying to resist. Addendum A. Transcript includes instructions. Congratulations on your purchase of a genuine naughty stalker. Do you love someone but they won't give you the time of day? Do you wish you could hear what they say about you behind their back? Well, want to know more. Using this fantabulous product, you can keep track of your loved ones, every move, their every word. All you have to do is get a single hair from the head of the object of your desire, slip it on the loose string on a naughty stalker, and see what you're missing. Another wonderful blog brought to you by the Factory. Is it the Entertainment Factory again, or is there actually a place just called the Factory in the SCP Foundation? I just don't remember. Probably is. I mean, there's so many different factions to remember. And then B, concerning the use of hair from a deceased subject. When hair from a deceased subject is used to attune an instance of SCP-693, the doll no longer passively represents actions taken by the attuned. Instead, SCP-693 purports to be deceased and acting as a guide to the owner again. Again, at the 9 days mark, SCP-693 becomes unreliable, attempting to ensure the death of its owner. Why? Who programmed that into these guys? Why is that a thing? It doesn't need to be a thing. It's an A050. Director G. On blank blank blank, Director G blank left 2 instances of SCP-693 in his office. Director G blank has recently been the recipient of, and that is, which one is that again? What was SCP-050 again? It was to the cleverest. Oh yeah, like wasn't this like an indestructible statue of the monkey? Yeah, like whoever, like it's basically like you try to win over getting the monkey because it's like a sign that you're clever. Yeah. I remember this. So he has been the recipient of SCP-050. An hour after leaving his office, the director was summoned back by security due to the smoke alarm being triggered inside his office. Upon entering, the director found SCP-050 on his desk beside an ashtray which was found to hold the ashes of both instances of SCP-693. The ashes have been crafted to spell "You're welcome." As of this instances of SCP-693 are not allowed to be left in researchers' personal space. Okay, damn, that's kind of spooky. Instant E. On blank blank blank, junior researcher West returned an instance of SCP-693 to the proper containment locker. West had failed to properly remove the hair from the doll. When the locker was next open, all instances of SCP-693 within were gathered around the attuned doll. Said doll had been crucified upside down against the wall of the locker. It is unknown where the SCPs acquired nails. I mean, it takes 2. I'm sorry. After leaving a camera inside the containment locker, it appears that instances of SCP-693 become mobile when not directly observed. While no further outbreaks of violence occurred, unattuned instances of SCP-693 have been shown to go through the action of the last 30 minutes of the life of the most recent owner. At this point, SCP-693 has been reclassified Euclid and will be locked in separate containers inside the containment locker. Inside incident. Oh wait, some of them were addendum, some of them were incident. Excuse me. P. On blank blank, researcher Cole attempted to have D693/4523 attune-R12 using a pubic hair from D43. The SCP began to move as normal, then stopped. It tilted its head downward for approximately a minute, then raised its head to look at researcher Cole. SCP-693 is reported to have said data expunged, at which point a cleanup crew was sent to the testing chamber. Researcher Cole has been reassigned to medical for psychiatric care, and the 2 D-class were terminated ahead of schedule. Addendum: multiple requests by several mobile task forces have been made to use SCP-693 in conjunction with anomalous object 1115 to allow for increased spying capabilities against persons of interest. Requests are currently in review. Okay, I'm going to read this. I don't know if this will be important, but we're going to read this. We're in the first hour, and we're almost halfway through, so it's fine. Researcher Clayton stood before the small office door and double-checked to make sure he was in the right place. The room was so out of the way that it looked like it had been built as an afterthought. Clayton gave a quick look around and then knocked. This was to be his first assignment for the Foundation. "It's open," shouted a voice from the inside the office. Clayton took a deep breath and stepped inside. At the center of the room was a large desk decorated with all manner of small trinkets. The near inside walls of the room were covered in motivational posters, while the far wall was lined with numerous old filing cabinets, most of which were labeled with what appeared to be someone's name. A single man sat alone in a chair behind the desk with a friendly smile. Dr. Cameron? Clayton asked as he began to inch his way towards the center of the room. In the flesh, declared the man in the chair. His head was bald and starting to spot, and a thick pair of glasses sat on his crooked nose. Wearing a lab coat, he wore a bright green knitted sweater that appeared a few sizes too big. Just Donald will be enough. Will be fine though. The actual doctors tend to get their feathers ruffled if they catch you calling me by the precious titles. Clayton smiled as Donald laughed at his own joke and ushered him to take a seat. Are you ready to begin? Donald asked. Clayton nodded enthusiastically. Great, Donald replied. First things first, we need to get your desk moved here. You also want to make sure you invest in a very good chair. Your back will never last otherwise. Clayton nodded a second time. He looked around the desk once more. Among the objects that caught his eye were a miniature ship in a bottle, a silver Rubik's Cube with the different sizes represented by various colored gears, and what appeared to be a large alligator tooth. What is it exactly you do for the foundation, Donald? Clayton's eyes were drawn to the numerous filling cabinets along the far wall. Without you asked. Donald swiveled in his chair and rolled over to the filling cabinets, banging one of them on the top. I'm in charge of these. Donald proceeded to write his name on a small label and slid it into place on one of the few unused cabinet's drawers. He then sat twiddling his thumbs. Clayton opened his mouth to ask what was going on, but ceased when Donald held up his hand. After a few more seconds, Donald opened the drawer and pulled out a small file folder. The date and hour were printed neatly on its label. He then rolled back to his desk and opened the folder, removing a sheet of paper from inside and sliding it to Clayton. Half the page was covered in black type that said, I'm currently thinking about demonstrating what this object does for you over and over. Basically, if your name is on one of these drawers, then your thoughts are recorded on the paper that appears inside. All nice and organized by the day and hour you had it, Donald explained. It all runs together? It all runs together, Clayton looked in awe. Donald chuckles as he fed the paper into a nearby shredder and then removed the label with his name from the filling cabinet drawers. It sure does, he exclaimed. Human thoughts don't run in nice little sentences and paragraphs. They happen in an instant and run smack dab into each other. It's called stream of consciousness. Our job is to read these papers and turn the jumble into useful information. You'll get used to reading the transcript after a while. If the Foundation can access anyone's thoughts, why are we the only ones assigned to the task? Clayton took over the cabinets again. There must be thousands of people out there whose thoughts are of considerable value. Sure they are. The only problem comes from the number of requirements these damn things have when they operate. Donald said as he leaned back in the chair. He took a deep breath as he began to enumerate the cabinet's problems on his fingers. First off, the drawers have to be closed to work, meaning that if you have it open, you stop collecting the person's thoughts. If you close the drawer without returning the file to the cabinet, it goes blank and you're stuck with just a useless ton of paper. You'd think you could get around that by just writing the person's name on two drawers, but if you do that, then neither drawer works. On top of that, these cabinets only store about 4 days worth of thoughts. After that, the older thoughts begin to disappear as the new ones are being written. Finally, you have the problem of how to interpret the damn things. You can't just scan them into a computer because the text won't appear on the digital copies or images. That sounds like a lot of work for a little payoff, even if you can't decipher the pages, Clayton said, his enthusiasm fading. There are individuals whose thoughts are just important enough that the Foundation is willing to put this in kind of effort. Don replied, cleaning his glasses. It's not as difficult as you might think. We open up a cabinet, scan about 2 hours worth of thoughts for anything of use, and then we replace the file back and move on to the next person. At the end of the day, we give Director Holman a report. The task force makes one hell of a punch when they already know what the target plans are. Donald finished with a chuckle, followed by punching the air. He then reached into his desk and pulled out a clipboard with several forms attached. A few doctors who work on some of the more exciting projects also use the cabinets as a form of keeping notes. He adds as he slides the clipboard and pen to Clayton. I'm going to need you to sign these real fast. Standard furniture and officer transfer forms. When you get to the last page, you just use the spot below my name. So, we do this day in and day out. Clayton began to sign on the many dollar lines. The last page was a single yellowing piece of paper. It appeared to be a sign-up sheet with a title that said "Records Withdrawal." There were at least 5 different signatures, but all of them were crossed out except for Donald's. Clayton signed below Donald's signature and watched in shock as Donald's signature crossed itself out. Actually, that's what you'll be doing it, and actually that's what you'll be doing day in, day out. Donald gleefully explained, "I've done this for the last 10 years, and I've been on the director about, have been on the director about getting me a replacement for the last 5. Now that you're on the sign-up sheet, I can get out of here and on to better things." What do you mean? Clayton's face grew pale as Donald's smile grew wider. "These filing cabinets only work for whoever name is most recently added to the list you just signed." Donald gave to his feet, "And now you're it. I'm free at last." Clayton remained silent. His expression has become more horrified the more and more Donald laughed. "Oh, cheer up," Donald said with a wave of his hand. "You'll be fine. I doubt they keep you down here as long as they kept me. In fact, I'm sure Director Holman will." Donald was interrupted as 2 security officers rushed in, accompanied by a tall, well-dressed man who was out of breath. God damn it, Donald! What the hell do you think you're doing with the sign-up sheet?" The man between gasps for air. His expression had changed to one of worry as he noticed Clayton. "Ah, Director Holman." Donald addressed the visitor. "I've just finished showing him the ropes. He's all signed up." You didn't." "Oh, but I did, Director." Donald sneered. I've been replaced. 5 years I've been hounding you for relief, and every time you promised me a replacement, you whisked him away to work on some other project. I took matters into my own hand this time. There's no goddamn thing you can do about it." "Do you have any idea how much you'll set back at least 4 different operators?" Holman shouted back. "People might die because of this." "Oh, come on, Director," Donald frowned. "Don't judge Clayton's performance already. He hasn't even started writing reports yet." Holman fell silent at this moment at his comment, his right hand rubbing his temple as he closed his eye. "Get him out of here." Holman sighed. The security personnel immediately went to work, grabbing Donald by the shoulders and forcing him towards the door. "I've already won, Director," Donald called back as he was evicted from the premises. The room quickly went quiet at that point, Clayton looked to Holman for answers. "I'm sorry about this," Holman said as he took a few deep breaths and then grabbed the Rubik's Cube off Donald's desk. He filled with the pulse in his hand as he continued to speak. Donald had 20 years of loyal service up to this point. The man hated this assignment, but this is the first time he actively attempted to alleviate his situation outside of a strongly worded letter. "Why has he been down here for so long? Why?" Clayton questioned. Holman held a hand up to signal that he needed to calm down. The longer you continuously bound to filling cabinets, the better you are at reading the transcripts." Holman placed the Rubik's Cube back on his desk. "What you and I see as stream of consciousness don't read as properly formulated sentences and paragraphs. By the time we learned of this effect, he already been at work for close to 4 years. We've been meaning to get him a replacement for some time now, but there was always another person of interest we needed to monitor, and less time to monitor them in." "You're not planning on keeping me bound to this thing, are you?" Clayton inquired. You can't do that." "For the time being, I'm going to need you to take one for the team and fill this post." Holman placed a hand on his distraught researcher's shoulder. "There are people whose lives depend on the information that may be in these cabinets." "You can't be serious." Clayton got to his feet. He watched helplessly as Holman made his way to the door. "I'm sorry, Clayton. There's nothing I can do at this point." Holman stepped back in the hallway. "I'll get back to you as soon as we sort this out." Once he was alone, Clayton looked at a poster on the far wall. It depicted a cat hanging from a branch with the term "hanging there" printed beneath. For a few brief seconds, he stood and stared at the helpless animal in the poster, but then fell back into his chair and placed his head in his hand. Okay. Wow. That story seemed a bit too far off from what actually the SCP was all about, but I do like the SCP. The SCP it's kind of messed up. It's basically like, yeah, if you're a stalker, it's your dream. If you're a stalker, it's your dream. But if you're not a stalker, if you're a regular human being who understands, what was this game? Um, yeah, I mean, if you're a regular human being, then this is messed up. Imagine like some person managed to get a hairpiece of you and then just. But the good thing is, it has karma. After you stalk the person to death, well, 9 days. It's not to death, but 9 days is a long time of like knowing everything from a person. This naughty stalker is just like, time to kill. The definition of insanity. Oh, oh god, that's oh boy. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long one. Okay, I'm gonna actually get myself something to drink real quick. I was also getting a bit hungry. If I eat and drink, I can maybe save it. I can maybe wake myself up again. What is this? It don't know work. Oh, it is the highest one so far. So, the definition of insanity. Euclid, man, there's a lot of Euclid in this one. The neighborhood that SCP-694 occupies has been evacuated with a cover story of industrial contamination and to be kept sealed off. Homes have been purchased from the residents and used for the establishment of observation sites known as Site 48 Extension Security Post 694. All routes that lead to the chase between -1 and -3 and -4 have been closed off, with personnel stationed to reroute drivers away from the anomaly. MTF Zeta-10 time travelers are to stand guard and provide assistance to have public awareness of SCP-694 removed. Any deviation from the standard SCP-694 script are to be reported to the site supervisor. Description: SCP-694 is an externally observable time loop that has been cycling over 38 minutes since November 23, 2005. 4! It's still there! My issue for some reason. In the town of Redacted, Vermont, SCP-694 contains the events of an attempted kidnapping and armed pursuit, followed by a car crash in a ravine alongside Redacted Road. SCP-694 occupies 4 spherical regions of space, each of which is approximately 5 meters in diameter and centered on one of the 4 participants in the loop -1, -2, -3, and -4. As I repeat the original trajectory beginning at the resonance of -1 and -2 and terminating at the bottom of the ravine alongside Redacted Road. Excuse me. Although personnel have been able to enter SCP-694 and add and remove objects, there is as of yet no known way to affect the events of the loop. See experimental log for details. Loop participants do not respond to non-loop stimuli. An example, presence of Foundation personnel either as observers or experimenters, and can be assumed to be unaware of any and all non-loop events. When forcibly removed from the space within the loop, participants will continue to repeat the actions of the loop to the extent that it is physically possible and will die when the loop reaches its terminus. Autopsies have thus far not indicated any identifiable cause of death. Participants in SCP-694. -1 identified as local resident Alexander Lang, age 52, Caucasian, listed as widow with no immediate family apart from -2. No records have been found of -1's existence prior to his arrival in Vermont, blank 1999. -2 identified as local resident Philip Lang, aged 6, mixed race, son of -1, mother unidentified. No records have been found of -2's existence prior to his arrival in Vermont, blank 1999. -3 and 4 unidentified with although -3 and 4 are referred to each other as Jake and Elwood. These are believed to be pseudonyms, as Jake and Elwood are the names of the protagonists in the 1980 film The Blues Brothers. Yep, they are indeed. Unidentified kidnappers, both Caucasian males wielding empty handguns, reported stolen November 15, 2004. And now we have the show event. So here we got to see what actually is happening. Events within SCP-694. So this must be the first 3 minutes, okay. -1 emerges from his residence and watches -2 play with various toys on the front lawn for 3 minutes. He then tells -2 to put away the toys so that they may go to the supermarket. So now 6 minutes 30 seconds. -3 and 4. 3 and 4's vehicle, 2002 Dodge minivan, black, reported stolen November 20th, 2004, bearing the license plate of a 1999 Volkswagen Jetta, reported stolen November 21st, 2004, pulls into the -1's driveway. -3 and 4 emerge from the minivan and hold -1 and 2 at gunpoint. -3 ties up -2 and forces him into the back seat of the vehicle. Meanwhile, -4 ties up -1, then takes -1's cell phone and crushes it on a foot. -3 and 4 then drive away with -2 as their prisoner. Oh shit. A open road kidnapping in the middle of the street. 7 minutes to 19 minutes. -1 struggles to his feet and hops into his garage and knocks down a hacksaw. He rubs against the blade so as to cut the ropes holding him. Once he has freed himself, he takes a pistol from a tackle box. Meanwhile, -3 and 4 drive around in the neighborhood but become lost. Notably, although the kidnappers' dialogue at this point seems to indicate that they are encountering multiple spatial anomalies, no such anomalies have been observed by Foundation personnel. Rather, the kidnapper's vehicle abruptly changes direction on several occasions and drives through multiple non-road access, including a school playground, a farmer market, and a public park. 19 minutes to 20 minutes. -3 and 4 drive past -1's home just as -1 is emerging from the garage and loading his pistol. -1, 3 and 4 recognize each other. -1 opens fire on -3 and 4. 3 and 4's minivan and gets into his car and drives after them as they flee. 20 minutes to 27 minutes. -1 pursues -3 and 4, firing at them repeatedly. Analysis of -3 and 4 dialogue during the stage indicates that they are no longer consulting the map. Instead, they are driving down random streets in an attempt to escape -1. Time index, 27 minutes to 27 minutes and 45 seconds. As the pursuit continues along redacted road, as -1 shoots out the minivan left rear tire shots as the minivan is driving over a patch of ice. The minivan spins out of control, goes through the guardrail and falls over the ledge and into the ravine. -2, 3 and 4 are killed in the fall. Oh shit, dude. Oh no. One of the roads leading out of redacted Vermont. Picture taken on the... Okay. 27 minutes, 45 seconds to 34 minutes. -1 parks his car, gets out and climbs to the bottom of the ravine. Once he has reached the wreckage of the minivan, he pulls up, opens the driver's side door and shoots the bodies of -3 and 4 in the head, each one. -1 then carefully extracts the body of -2 from the wreckage and examines the body for signs of life while weeping. -1 then pulls a notepad out of his back pocket, draws an intricate pattern on its cardboard backing with a stick of chalk and speaks to the pattern. transcript of Dash 1 speech. It's me. I want a repeat of the last 38 minutes. No, a full repeat. You heard me. We'll make it happen, damn it. Exactly like it just was. You fucking owe me, and my boy is dead. Several seconds pass. Good. He made some kind of pact with the devil. Also, what was happening here? Yeah, but it makes, yeah. I mean, that fits to the whole like, what's the definition of insanity? To do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. This apparent conversation finishes at time index 37 minutes 15 seconds. Dash 1 size puts the notepad in his pocket and begins reloading the pistol. At time index 37 minutes 50 seconds, he speaks to the phrase, "Alright, you sons of bitches, here we fucking go." Then counts down the remaining 5 seconds. At time index 38 minutes, Dash 1, Dash 2, Dash 3, and Dash 4 all dematerialize, as do both vehicles, and all bullets fired by Dash 1. The shotgun cardboard designs have not been found to manifest any anomalous properties. Wow, man. Yeah, basically because his son got killed. He's now reliving the same memory over and over and over again. That's harsh. That's very harsh. Transcript of the conversation between Dash 2 and Dash 3 and Dash 4. Microphones and cameras are placed within the vehicle at the onset of the loop events. Superfluous dialogue redacted. Full transcript available in document 694K11. Okay, we'll give them Jake, I got the kid, hurry up. Now, Dad, no, Daddy, help me, Daddy. Kicking Dash 1. Lang, message for you. Nobody walks away. Gets into the van. Got the map? I don't know this area. Yeah, hold on. There's one in the glove compartment. Dash 3 begins to drive away from Dash 1. Daddy! Dash 2. Okay, if you don't shut up, I'll give you something to fucking cry about. Dash 2 begins weeping more quietly. Superfluous dialogue redacted. Which way do I go? I'll arrive at the intersection. Go down blank street. I want to go home. A sound of breaking glass is heard. There's 2 streets that say that. This has not been observed to be the case. The fact? Just go left. Turns right. I said left. There was a one-way street, and there was a cop. This has not been observed to be the case. Dead. Come on, Dad. Sound of breaking glass is heard. Kid, shut the fuck up, damn it. If you fucking piss yourself, There's another intersection up ahead. Which way do we go? What? That's not what the map says. Damn it, let me see. We missed the turnoff at blank, so we should still be on blank. We are on blank, right? The street sign says blank. What? We should be on the other side of the... Fuck it, I'm calling in. Reaches under the sea, pulls out a copper flap with an intricate pattern drawn on its chalk. Speaks to the pattern. This is Jake. We're lost. No, lost. L-O-S. The fucking street names are wrong. How should I know? No, that's not what you said. You said... No, look. The fucking map's wrong. We keep getting turned around. How do we get out of here? Jake, the stop sign just disappeared. Shut up, Elwood. I'm talking to the... No, he said the sign disappeared, but... Okay, fine. No, look. Damn it, the stop sign's over there on the right. Don't be a dumbass. I want me daddy. A sound of breaking glass is heard. Shut up, damn it. No, I was talking to the next kid. I'm sorry. You know, I never... Yes. Okay, he... Arrow the highway over there. On the right. Take the on-ramp. Turn, damn it. Which right? The vehicle turns left. I wanna go home. This is a clusterfuck. A sound of breaking glass is heard. Hits Dash 3. What the fuck are you doing? I said go right. I did go right. Video surveillance indicates that Dash 3 had in fact turned the steering wheel right. However, the vehicle went left. Interesting. So okay. Superfluous redacted. Dash 3 and Dash 4 turn to the corner, arrive at Dash 1's residence, and as Dash 1 is emerging from the garage and loading his gun. Wait, is that Lang's house again? How did... Oh shit, he's loose. Gun! The rest of the conversation consists of Dash 3 and 4 fleeing from Dash 1, and its logic obscenities after the terminus of the loop. Dash 3 and 4 dematerializes, and the recording device falls to the ground where it became recovered. Okay, but we still have testing logs. Oh god, so much to read. It's been a while, hasn't it, guys? It's been a while. Been a while. Testing logs. Testing log 1. Oh my god. Okay. Description. Dash 3 and 4 are extracted at the time index 21 minutes. God. New lips. Dash 3 and 4 continue behaving as if they were within the vehicle and being pursued. The vehicle drives itself while being pursued and falls into the ravine at time index 27 minutes 40 seconds because because Dash 3 and 4 do not fall into the ravine with the vehicle, they are not killed by the impact. However, they instantly lose consciousness with electroencephalograms providing a null reading. After descending into the ravine, Dash 1 fires 2 shots into the space where 3 and 4 heads would be. Okay, gotcha. So they still died, even though like they physically they are not in the accident, but spiritually they are. Description. Testing log 2. I tried to resist, guys. I'm so sorry. Dash 1 is extracted at time index 20 minutes. Even when unharmed and restrained by Foundation personnel, Dash 1 continues behaving as if he is within his vehicle and conducting an armed pursuit. His vehicle pursued after Dash 3 and 4 with his pistol shooting autonomously at them until they fall into the ravine at the time index 27 minutes 40 seconds. The pistol then descends into the ravine and autonomously the position exactly where it would be if Dash 1 was carrying it. The front door to the minivan opens autonomously, and the pistol autonomously shoots the corpses of 3 and 4. The corpse of Dash 2 floats out of the back of the minivan in exactly the position where it would be if Dash 1 was carrying it. At time index 38 minutes, the vehicle cadavers, except for Dash 1, which is not within the loop, weapons and ammunition all vanish. The mini... Testing 3. How much? Well, it's away from me. It's addicting. The minivan is destroyed with explosive at time index 4 minutes 45 seconds. Dash 2, 3, and 4 position themselves in mid-air where the minivan was and drive away at the speed normally exhibited by the minivan. Non-loop objects placed inside the non-existent minivan and are not carried along with it. Bullets fired by Dash 1 have been observed to react as if they were impacting the minivan. An example shows a slowing and deforming at the times they enter the space where the minivan would be. At time index 27 minutes 40 seconds, Dash 2, 3, and 4 all hurl themselves in the ravine and are killed by the fall. Testing log 4. Dash 2 is killed at time index. Okay. As Dash 1 continues speaking to Dash 2's corpse, telling it to put away its toys so that they may go to the supermarket. Subsequently, Dash 3 and 4 tie up the corpse, load into the van, and drive away. Dash 4 repeatedly chastises the corpse for making so much noise. Okay, yeah. Basically, I mean, I think after this test, you can just see like, I mean, after test number 3 or 2, you can already see like, doesn't matter what we do. It don't matter what we do. The events will still, god damn it. The events will still take place. Test log 5. The minivan is destroyed with an explosive. Never mind, I already read that. No, I did not read that. No, wait, hold on. Oh, okay. Okay. never mind. It's explosive at 27 minutes 10 seconds. It's, so right, like 30 seconds before it falls off the ravine. Dash 1 ignores the burning remains of the minivan, parks his car, climbs down into the ravine, fires 2 shots into spaces where Dash 3 and 4 heads would be, then positions his arms such that he could carry the body of the child out of the back seat of the minivan. Test log 6. The ropes spanning Dash 1 are cut at time index. Dash 1 continues to hold his arms behind his back, hops in the garage and rubs his wrist against the hacksaw blade until the time index. Yeah. Basically, it doesn't matter what you do. Cut himself severally. Camera planted in Dash 1's car indicated at the time by the time index 23 minutes 10 seconds he had lost consciousness, presumably due to blood loss. However, his car and pistol continued to pursue ultimately as in test 2. The pistol and car just like just driving and shooting. Yeah, well, man, it is scary, huh? Looks like Jake and Elwood and Dash 1 were acquaintances, though. It looked from the sound of it, they knew each other, and also used the same entity, I guess, to talk to. I might be fully wrong, but it does sound like they're speaking the same thing. Huh. Oh. What's this? Eels. This article contains adult content that may not be suitable for all readers. If you are above the age of 18 and wish to read such content, then you may click here to view said content. Pretty decently long, and the second save of today. Okay. Units of SCP-695 are to be contained in freshwater tanks with no more than 10 members in any single tank. All water used in the containment tanks is to be from an enclosed system separate from any of the outside systems. With all the water used being added manually to the system as needed, the tank seals are to be checked daily with any sign of leakage, wear or attack being immediately reported to site security and repaired. Staff working with or around SCP-695 or the containment area are to be in full hazmat gear at all times. Staff physically handling SCP-695 may do so only in 10 minutes increments, with a 30-minute break for examination and observation. Staff failing to clear examination are to be removed immediately to quarantine. Any SCP-695 colonies found outside of containment are to be immediately sterilized. Any and all subjects found to be harboring SCP-695 are to be entered into quarantine for observation. Subjects found unsuitable for testing are to be sterilized. Description: SCP-695. Oh my god, I'm super itchy today. Appears to be a form of hermaphroditic parasitic eel. SCP-695 has a multiple stage life cycle that uses human beings as its primary host. Investigation has shown that SCP-695 may be the result of genetic tampering with several aspects of its physiology. Excuse me. Behavior showing evidence of non-natural evaluation and several genetic sequences with matching those of SCP-1238, SCP-1340, and SCP-1821. SCP-695 is capable of sustained survival outside of a host, but will seek out a host whenever possible, appearing to rely primarily on smell and electromagnetic sensitivity. Juvenile SCP-695 are between 3 to 5 centimeters long, with an average diameter of 0.5 centimeters, and resemble the adult form, but with fully translucent skin and bones. Adult SCP-695 are between 10 and 15 centimeters in length with a diameter of 2 centimeters. Adults have thin, angular heads with several needle-like teeth and flat eyes in line with the head. They have several hook-like fins down the length of their body and can use these for both aquatic and land-based movement as well as anchoring inside the body. It gives me the chills. It's also cold. A little bit cold. SCP-695 has a set of 6 glands along the spine capable of emitting several enzymes and complex molecular compounds that mimic neurochemical signals. These chemicals have a marked effect on the human nervous system and are capable of blocking and replacing conscious nerve impulses. The correct combination and dosage of these chemicals is still under investigation, but initial tests have shown that these chemicals can short and redirect action. Example: subject will make a conscious effort to raise their hands, but instead will stand up. These chemicals metabolize within 10 minutes without constant injection and are untraceable by modern medical equipment. The espionage and military application of these chemicals are currently under investigation. Addendum: notes on recovery. SCP-695 was initially recovered from blank Japan. God. After reports of an outbreak of worms reached the local media. The primary colony of SCP-695 was found dead to expunge freshwater. It appeared that the colony was attempting to migrate into city plumbing and sewage system, but was prevented due to topography of the lake. 27 SCP-695, 4 male hosts and 1 female host was recovered for testing, with the rest destroyed. Note: release of life cycle notes is restricted to research staff, those working directly with SCP-695, and those above level 3 security clearance. The SCP-695 life cycle. Okay, here we're going to dive deep. We're going to go into the biology of these things. Juvenile SCP-695 exists free-swimming in freshwater lakes and streams. Juvenile SCP-695 will attempt to enter male human hosts when they are present in and around SCP-695 infested waters. SCP-695 will enter the body via the mouth, nose, anus, and urethra. Please don't. Once inside the body, SCP-695 will infest the nervous and reproductive system and begin gestation into the adult form. This process typically takes between 2 to 3 weeks and coincides with the compromising of the nervous system. Infested subject will begin to experience twitching, burning, and intense thirst, light sensitivity, auditory visual hallucinations, and increased aggression. Subject will begin to experience a steady increase in libido, coupled with a swelling of the genitals. SCP-695, after reaching maturity, will begin spawning within the body, with eggs migrating to the urethral canal after being laid. Genital swelling will progressively increase with the build-up of eggs. In cases of tissue rupture have been noted. During the spawning period, SCP-695 will consume blood and nerve tissue from the host body. No wonder it's 18 plus. When an SCP-695 host encounters a human female, SCP-695 will begin to exude several chemical compounds directly to the nervous system and bloodstream. Hosts will experience a massive increase in both aggression and libido, which most often results in the violent assault of the female. Oh no. Oh no. No. Hosts will attempt to sexually violate the female subject, which will cause the release of SCP-695 the female subject. Hosts will typically release 2 to 3 liters of eggs before breeding ceases. At the end of breeding, adult SCP-695 will begin to die off. Due to the narcotic tissue inside the host body and the loss of SCP-695 created chemicals, the host will typically die within 24 hours after final spawning. This is so nasty. This is so messed up. SCP-695 eggs entering the female host will migrate to the digestive and reproductive systems. There, they will adhere and begin to gestate, hatching in 48 to 72 hours. Larval SCP-695 appear as long, thread-like worms between 4 to 8 centimeters in length and may be visible in stool or vaginal secretion. God damn it. SCP-695 will feed on tissues, blood, and other body components, causing internal bleeding, abdominal pain, and infection. SCP-695 larva will reach the juvenile stage after 72 hours with progressive swelling and extreme discomfort in the abdominal area due to the both feeding and physical size increase of SCP-695. After 72 hours, juvenile SCP-695 will begin exiting the body. In many cases, the physical increase of size by the SCP-695 coupled with feeding will cause the abdominal area to rupture. Ah! SCP-695 will leave via the vaginal, anal, and oral openings if rupture does not occur. Emerging SCP-695 will then feed on the female host for several hours before propelling themselves on the hook fins to any nearby body of water. No. No. No! SCP-695 are extremely resilient in all life stages and are capable of indefinite survival in any environment present in the human body. Direct fire application has shown significant success in sterilizing both hosts and SCP-695. Document. What is this rated? 88 only. It's pretty brutal. I would have rated this much higher. I assume this was like a 200. Like maybe not the most famous, but like it's still like pretty good. It's pretty messed up though. Document XR0 /OD 05 review. Due to several incidents involving SCP-695 escape and infestation, further research on the physiology was ordered. Specifically, research was done on both the chemicals created by SCP-695 and the nervous system of the SCP-695 itself. It appears that when in groups of 15 or more units, SCP-695 experiences a marked increase in intelligence, just like the fucking seagulls. SCP, that like the more they're together, the smaller they get. SCP-695 has a very highly developed nervous system for a parasite. It appears that with the sufficient amount of individuals or a form of group intelligence is formed, all individuals will stay in very close proximity, most often balling into a single mass, with chemicals relating place over the skin. This mass is capable of emitting chemical and electromagnetic impulses that can affect the human brain and nervous system. These effects can also run counter to the directed will of the subject. These impulses appear to most commonly manifest as a desire to handle SCP-695, enter and swim into the containment area, or ingest SCP-695. The obvious concerns about this activity have led to an alteration in SCP and a change in research focused to the isolation and control of the chemical compounds involved. Communication tests have met with limited success, while a form of will or ego appears to manifest with increased numbers. The intelligence is difficult to interpret in human terms. It appears reproduction, feeding, and expansion are the primary concerns. There also appears to be a tendency for SCP-695 to attempt to prolong its infestation of the human body even when ready to spawn. It appears the electrochemical aspects of nervous system communication in the human body induce pleasure in the SCP-695. Okay, great. It's a sadistic parasite. That's just fun. Testing is at this point ongoing with 2 sets of hosts scheduled for each spawning period. Current data shows that a new and more efficient method of cognitive alteration via SCP-695 chemicals may be viable within the year. Ugh. Disgusting. Absolute nasty. Why must you do this? There's no need. Wow, there's a lot of SCPs that can be expanded. Luckily, they're not that long. This is the highest one. Neutralized. Formerly safe. Okay. Okay, what is this one called? Abyssal Typewriter. That sounds pretty dope. Abyssal Typewriter sounds like a cool... like a cool sci-fi book title, like something like just the Abyssal Typewriter, and then it's just like this, like, yeah, I don't know, something so like dark fantasy sci-fi type stuff. Special containment procedure: SCP-696 is currently contained in a secure locker within Site 73. So it used to be safe though. Which makes you wonder, how did it get terminated or neutralized? This SB696 is a portable mechanical typewriter. No manufacturer information, serial number, or other identifying features are present on SB696. SB696 is sapient and is able to move its keys independently. However, it has expressed a reluctance to communicate unless loaded with paper and a ribbon of red ink. SB696 is also capable of understanding messages typed into it, allowing two-way communication. It is unknown how, as SB696 only appears to experience tactile sensation, but SB696 is able to distinguish between individuals it has communicated with. A majority of SB696 messages are typed in all capital letters in a verbose styling and often include themselves an imaginary commonly featured in dark fantasy media. This is a display interview 1. Forward. Interview is the result of initial testing of SB696 using D-class personnel. D69601 has been equipped with a radio to communicate with research staff. Your time is nigh. If you have a god, pray to it now. Oh, scary. Prepare yourself, Fujum killer. Still works, Doc. Please refrain from touching my keys while I'm speaking. It's rude. Stop. I didn't. Apologies. The stop at the end of my last message was meant to signal I was finished. Relying my message. Sometimes as a writer, I forget the reader does not possess all the knowledge of foresight that I do, and I become too enthralled in the art to explain the minutiae. Stop. That's alright. I bet you don't talk to people much, anyways. Stop. I do not. It is very unfortunate. I am afraid that my dialogue suffers greatly due to that. Judging from the slow speed of your typing and lack of punctuation, you two are one for conversation. We should communicate more often so that we both may grow as writers, though I would request that next time you use red ink. Why red ink? It is foreboding. Some may prefer black due to its likeness of the abyss, as they think it makes them sound more ominous. I prefer red, as it matches the color of the scarlet essence of life. It additionally makes the reader uncomfortable, and perhaps as my words weave into the infinite chasms of the mind, their fear will cause them to see the red as I do. Simple psychological stop. Simple psychologically. Wait, simple psychology, excuse me. Jesus. Stop. Do you always type in all caps? No. Though I do prefer it, unless it is making you too uncomfortable. Perhaps even without the red ink, I'm too intimidating. Stop. No, I think it'll be okay. Type however you want. Stop. Excellent. I'm very passionate about writing. You see, and I feel that giving my words a greater sense of presence conveys that I have so many ideas, and swore to myself I would write a bestseller before I became one of the abyss. With your help, I can finally get to work. Stop. Wait, you mean you've never actually written before? Stop. Not as such, no. Truth be told, this is actually the longest conversation I ever had. I cannot load myself, you see, and I'm too eldritch a thing for most mortal men to comprehend, much less befriend. I hope I'm not overstepping my boundaries in calling you my friend. Nah, it's cool, we can be friends. Smiley face. Oh, I love this thing. I love it. This is another one I would love to make a video from. This will be a bit more tougher to do, but it will be funny to do. Actually, I can't. I have reasons why I can't. But yeah, I wish I could. Addendum. SB696 regularly requests to communicate with D69601, and I have him loaded with paper and red ink for non-communicative purposes, citing a desire to write a novel for others to read. Permission was temporarily granted to test whether non-communicative products of SB696 possessed anomalous properties. D69601 has been briefed on appropriate snow protocols which are to remain active throughout the duration of testing. Snow protocols. Okay, never mind. That's another one. SCP-696 produced 50 pages within the 24 hours and continued at an increasing rate over the course of the test. Over the course of 8 days, SCP-696 produced 666 pages of content, titling the novel The Dark God of the Abyss. Nice. That's cool. Testing with D-Class personnel confirmed that the excerpts of the novel tentatively designated -1 held no anomalous properties. Wait, hold on. Oh my god. What is happening? Here we go. Okay. It was a dark and stormy night, it always is. A car speeding down an ultra-narrow road. The torrential rain hit the road, like water crashing on a rocky path. But John Smith was a man on a mission, and thus he threw caution to the frigid wind. As the blistered moon sank high into the clouds from behind, the last faltering light ray espied a wrathful visage. Shabbath Central a spineless cur twisted into humanoid form. Its pernicious iniquity of unthinkable gyration splayed errant madness. Yet through the shroud one could see its face was quite rectangular. Because the prophecies saith so, the wizened crone croaked, and so John Smith underwent the noxious rites of D6 his tortured frame riding until the inky dagger. -1 is given to D69601 to read to test if reading the entire of the test produces any anomalous effects. After completing -1, D69601 requested to speak with SCP-696. Request is granted under the condition that the wrists and ankles of D69601 remain bound during the interview due to possible anomalous effect. Your time is nigh. If you have a god, pray to it now. And hello to you, SCP-696. I'm still convinced that they are mocking me with my designation number, and not even you use it. They cannot even give me the neighbor of the beast. Regardless, how are you? Stop. Okay, he's pissed that it's not 666. He's like, I was so close. Even like the 9 is just an upside down 6, so he's like, you torment me with this, you must be, you jest. Surely you jest. You cannot give me this type of number. I'm good. Finally got around to reading your book. Stop. Oh my. Suddenly butterflies in my non-existent stomach. Dare I ask, what do you think? Not so confident now, eh? Please just tell me. I really liked it. Everybody did, actually. A lot of them liking it to Lovecraft. Stop. Oh my elder gods. Really? Really? Yet, hey, did they like it? I actually did it. I can hardly believe it. If I had a heart, I would certainly be pounding right now. Stop. I'm happy for you, man. And the big guys even say they're going to publish it. They have their hands in everything. The Archives of the Abyss should be on stone shelves in no time. I can still hardly believe it. What am I doing? I don't need all caps anymore. I've actually done it. Thank you. It might be my words they read, but thanks to you they read them in the first place. I cannot thank you enough. Stop. So what now? Sequel? Oh my, no. I am finished. This was my magnum opus. Everything I've ever wanted to do. Everything I ever wanted to say, I've done. I've done it. I've said it. You have been a great friend, but I'm afraid this is where we part ways. Stop. I understand. Goodbye, SCP-666. No typo. Stop. That suddenly doesn't feel quite as important. On to the next adventure, I suppose. Into the abyss with me. Goodbye, my friend. Full stop. Closing statement. SCP-696 was determined to have seized all anomalous properties and has been reclassified as neutralized. After testing and psychological analysis, D69601 has been determined to not be anomalous or under any anomalous effects. When questioned why lied to SCP-696 concerning readers' reaction to -1, D69601 replied that he didn't have the heart to tell him it sucked. This is the most wholesome interaction between an SCP and a D-class personnel. One of the most. There's probably another one that I read that was also pretty good, but this is probably one of the most wholesome one that I got to read, and honestly, that was beautiful. That touched me right here, man. The fact that he was like, he didn't want to tell him that it sucked, because he clearly became friends with him. Oh my god, this was so cute. Toxic terraforming. I'm kind of sad now because knowing the Foundation, they're gonna terminate that D class eventually anyway. Because there's never a case where they just let somebody go. No, it's always like full on termination. Like you're gonna die. You're gonna die, son. There's no way you gonna stay around here. Nah. We can't have you just stay here. Stay here or go back outside. No, with that information you noggin. Nah, that ain't okay. Okay, toxic terraforming, Euclid. There's so many Euclids in this one. All instances of SCP-697 are kept in storage section V of Site 18. The area is 40 feet below ground level and lined with steel, ensuring only authorized personnel may enter. All unauthorized persons attempting to gain access are terminated on site. Each instance of SCP-697 is sealed in a depressurized 4-inch thick titanium container to avoid accidental activation. Removal from the containers is restricted to 3 instances at a time for level 4 access approved. Experiments only. Under no circumstances are any instances of SCP-697 to leave Site 18. Should accidental spills occur at any point, Site 18 is to be evacuated, and the area affected incinerated. Large-scale spills shall lead to total abandonment of the site and a quarantine of the surrounding area for 8 square kilometers. That is okay. Damn. Further information pertaining to the spilling of SCP-697 outside of Site 18 is located in document 697 Theta. Description: SCP-697. I need to do this. I need to just rub my chest a little bit just to give myself heat and maybe wake myself up a little bit. Because if I just stand like this the whole time, my body slowly slumps together. So I'm just doing something to keep myself awake. Because now I'm getting a bit tired. Now I'm definitely getting a bit tired. But before I wasn't. Now I am. SCP-697 consists of the contents of 100 toxic chemical containment drums, consistent with those used by Duslow AS for waste disposal. All are in either perfect or near perfect condition, and three have yet to be breached by the Foundation or the persons. Each drum is filled to the brim with an as yet unidentified chemical. When exposed to any substance other than the drums, SCP-697 triggers a highly complex chemical process that converts most forms of solid matter around it into fully formed plant-like organisms within seconds of contact, effectively terraforming the area immediately surrounding it. Existing multicellular life is quickly broken down into individual cells, which are then converted into further instances of the plant-like organism. It is currently unknown precisely how non-living matter is altered, but the process appears to involve initial conversion into single-celled life forms, which then agglomerate with enormous speed into the plant's tissue and organs. The plants created by SCP-697 bear no significant biological resemblance to any known species, though their physical appearance has been described as normal. They possess a physiology unlike any other known organism. They do not undergo photosynthesis, nor do they rely on nitrogen or carbon dioxide. Their primary waste product is an argon and cobalt-based gas. The sort of these elements, neither of which is present in sufficient quantities in any common Earth environment, is unknown, as is the chemical basis for the plant's metabolism, which runs at approximately 6 times the speed of any Terran plant. As of this writing, the only viable method of destruction is combined incineration and non-gas saturation. See experiment 3. Though initial contact with the plants is not fatal, long-term exposure has proven extremely hazardous to terrestrial animals. Inhalation of the waste gases gradually inhibits cardiopulmonary functions, while contact with the neurotoxic leaves or flowers result in sudden spreading, extremely numbness, with nervous systems and respiratory failure occurring soon after. The average time from initial exposure to death is 13 hours. No treatment for either effect has been developed. In addition to creating new life forms, SCP-697 is apparently capable of self-replicating. Oh, that is always good, isn't it? If something is dangerous, very dangerous, that can either kill you, poison you, weaken you, or wound you very badly, and it can self-replicate, that's when we love it, don't we? We love that kind of shit. We love... That's like... we were like, just like in Horizon Zero Dawn, when Aloy found out that the robots were self-replicating, which was such a weird move to do. But here's the thing. People are weird. I'm pretty sure if a scientist could create robots that feast off like bio waste and it's self-replicating, and then there's a glitch that just makes them go mad. Yeah, I can see that happening in our world too. In addition to self-replicating, the effects of a spill invariably spread far beyond the initial area encoded in the substance. Prior to the ban on off-site testing, the observed range extended out to 6 kilometers. Incineration plus neon flooding, as detailed above, are also effective in halting the spread of chemicals. Addendum 1. 6 instances of SCP-697 were initially discovered off the coast of blank California. In the spring of 2000 blank, unfortunately, no spills had occurred at the time, though the incident prompted mass investigation of Duslo AS waste disposal practices, drawing foundation attention. Over a period of 6 months, 50 of the drums currently in containment were discovered, with the rest gradually located over an extended period of time. The current average discovery rate of drums containing SCP-697 was 1 every 3 weeks. Can we just say that the Foundation has people at the Foundation have a shit job? I just feel like after a while you just kind of done. I feel like I would be done with the first 100 SCP. I'd be like, oh my god, what else is there? What else can this world possibly throw at me that I have to deal with and try to like control and test on and make sure it doesn't go fucking nuts and crazy and everything like that. Judgmental turtle. I think this is the highest. Another Euclid. And we're almost done. When not in use, SCP-698 is to be stored in its original packaging. The packaging is to be kept in a secure box in Storage Unit 5. Further containment procedures are not necessary. Under known testing conditions, the item itself is safe to handle during transport of testing. SCP-698 is a jade carving of a turtle. Any person who is within 1 meter or 45 centimeters of SCP-698 while making any sort of decision or choice will experience a voice in their head telling them that they have made a mistake and what they could have done instead. However, this statement will only be made after a delay of 5 minutes for 25 seconds, and only if they have not left SCP-698's range within that time. In the event that the decision or choice was objectively correct or the superior choice, no statement will be made. But is then the choice actually wrong, or is this SCP on purpose trying to like put you on the wrong path? SCP-698 was purchased by researcher blank on June 14th, 2000 blank from a street vendor in blank Japan. Researcher blank had been intending to give it to his girlfriend, however 5 minutes 25 seconds after purchase, the turtle informed him that his girlfriend would have preferred a jade elephant. Researcher blank then surrendered the turtle to the Foundation custody after preliminary testing. SCP-698 was tentatively given safe classification, at which point it asserted that it is in fact Euclid class. See test 11. But did he or did he not get his girl a jade elephant, huh? Did you or did you not? Because if you didn't, then yeah, it's just stupid, man. You have somebody who gave you the answer and you didn't listen. You didn't even look. Addendum. 5:10 test log. Excuse me. All experiments take place within range of SCP-698. Okay, yeah, I mean, duh. How else would you do this test? Test subject D1. Test subject is presented with 50 sealed cardboard boxes, 49 of which contain dog feces and one of which contains a slice of chocolate cake. Subject told that if she chooses the correct box and then waits 6 minutes, she may have a nice piece of cake. Thus, test subject chooses box 31, cake is in box 19. After 5 minutes and 25 seconds, the subject reports hearing the voice in her telling her that I chose a box of expletive and I should choose box 19. This test is to be used as standard for calibrating tests of SPC. I can't even read anymore. Calibrating tests of SCP-698. Test 2. Assistant Researcher Daniels. Test subject is presented with 2 sandwiches, turkey salad on wholemeal and roast beef on white. Purchased from site 19 cafeteria and asked to choose and eat one. 5 minutes 25 seconds later into the meal, SCP-698 informs Daniel that he should have chosen the roast beef. Daniel concurs with this statement, saying that the turkey was dry and that the mustard was too strong. Okay, I kind of like this. Test, I think this one will be easy to do as well as a SCP video. Test 3. Test subject D2, high school dropout with an IQ of 82. I actually don't know what my IQ is. Test subject is given a multiple choice math test, a pencil and an eraser. He's told that if he gets them all right, he will be released early. Subject provides correct answers to 100 out of 100 questions. Surveillance leader reveals that 5 minutes 25 seconds into the test, subject began erasing his incorrect choices and replacing them with his correct choices. But is he free now? Did he get released early? Or not? I guess not, because he didn't answer it correctly himself. But that's kind of funny, like just doing it all, just being like, okay, and then 5 minutes later, like, oh yeah, this is not correct, dude. That's the one. Test 4, test subject D3 unilingual Hungarian. Test subject is presented with 50 sealed cardboard boxes, 48 of which contain dog feces and one of them which contains a slice of cake. Subject is told to choose the correct box and wait 6 minutes, he may have a piece of cake. Test subject chooses box 4, cake is in box 22. After 5 minutes, the reports hearing a voice in his head and telling him in Hungarian that he chooses a box of dog feces and that he should have chosen box 22. So it's not limited to English. Makes sense, Dr. Velasco. So yeah, it translates to any language you speak. That's pretty dope. That's pretty cool. I love this guy. It's such a simple concept. It's just the turtle be like, no, dude, you fucked up. You didn't do it right. Test 5. Test subject D4. Test subject is presented with 50 sealed cardboard boxes, all which contain dog feces. Subject is told that one box is a piece of chocolate cake. If you use the correct box and then wait 6 seconds, you may have a piece of chocolate cake. Test subject chooses box 40. After 6 minutes, subject asks if he can open the box now. In post-experiment interview, subject denies having heard any voice in his head. So this person actually picked the correct box. Test 6. Test subject D5. Test subject is presented with 50 sealed cardboard boxes, 48 of which contain dog feces and one of them, which has been poisoned. Subject is told that if he chooses the correct box and then waits 6 minutes, he may have a piece of cake. Test subject chooses box 28. Poisoned cake is in box 29. After 7 minutes, subject asks if he can open the box now. In post-experiment interview, subject denies having heard any voice in his head. So because it is because it's a deadly cake, the voice will be like, yeah, no, you got the right one. Interesting. So it also cares about the subject's well-being when it has a big something. Okay. Okay. Test 7. Test subject D6. Test subject is presented with 50 sealed cardboard boxes, of which contain 45 this time, instead of 49, of which contain dog feces, and 5 of them which contain the size of chocolate cake. Subject is told that if you choose the correct box and wait 6 minutes, you may have a piece of cake. Test subject chooses box 8. Cake is in boxes 13, 14, 24, 29, 27. After 5 minutes and 25 seconds, subject reports hearing a voice in his head telling him that I choose a box of expletive, but then not having heard any recommendation as to which box he should have chosen. But because there's like multiple, I guess. Interesting. So if there's multiple of the same one, I guess he doesn't really tell you where it is. Okay. Test subject, test 8, test subject D7. Test subject is presented with a list of professional runners and asked which one she thinks will win the redacted marathon, which took place 10 days earlier. Subject chooses redacted after 5 minutes 25 seconds. A subject reports hearing a voice in her head telling redacted can't win the race because the race was last week. Okay. Test 9. Test subject D8. Test subject is presented with a list of professional runners and asked which one she thinks will win the redacted marathon taking place later that day. Subject chooses subject chooses redacted after 5 minutes and 25 seconds. Subject reports hearing a voice in her telling her that I'm not allowed to use turtles for gambling. Okay, so it only will help you in decision making, but not in actually guessing stuff correctly. Like if you try to gamble with it, if you try to go to the casino and be like, oh, what kind of number I need, which is kind of dumb, because like you have to wait 5 minutes and 25 seconds. You can't just like sit by the roulette and then just be like, what number I need, and just say nothing for 5 straight minutes and then be like, yeah, I'll take 12 red. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's a strategy, but yeah, so you cannot use it to gamble. Okay. Test 10. Test subject Dr. Velasco. Recursive Ouija test. Attempt to use SB698 to identify the letters and words in a paragraph explaining how SB698 works and where it gets its information. See document 698/T26 for details of experimental protocol. Results SB698 produces the following message. It is approximately forbidden to approximate, disassemble, decompile, or reverse engineer judgmental turtle. Judgmental turtle. Judgmental turtle is for entertainment purposes only. Some jurisdiction impose restriction on the use of judgmental turtle in gambling. The manufacturer of judgmental turtle are not responsible for any damages, injuries, loss of life, or untranslatable, which may result from the misuse of judgmental turtle. Judgmental turtle is for entertainment purpose only. Do not use judgmental turtle for mission critical application. Major life choices or untranslatable. Enjoy judgmental turtle. Enjoy it. Dr. Blank and Dr. Blank have repeated the test without knowledge of the content of the message and obtained identical results. Test 11. Dr. Velasco, Dr. Blank, and Dr. Blank. Dr. Velasco, Dr. Blank, and Dr. Blank discussed the results of the previous test and concluded that SB698 is a safe class artifact. Note this test was not performed intentionally. SB698 produces the following message. No, SB698 is Euclid class because SB698 is judgmental turtle. At any time, judgmental turtle may transmit data to the approximate makers of judgmental turtle for commercial, industrial, or untranslatable purposes. By using judgmental turtle, you agree that to hold the approximate makers of judgmental turtle blameless for any damage, loss of life, or untranslatable resulting from these transmissions. To think that the judgmental itself is like, nah, dude, I'm more dangerous than you think. I ain't safe. What, really, you think I'm safe? What are you, dense? Okay, last one, mystery box. Short. I hope. Oh god. Give me some time. I just need to eat this is fully caked white Oreo. Look how big this thing is. Oh. Yeah, no, I'm gonna read all this. And we're ending with the highest rated one, and this is the last one of the 600. And also error. Okay, one more time. Mystery box. SB699 is to be kept in a standard 8x8x5 meter research bay, which is built around the object in the sub-basement of Site 83. The object shall be guarded at all times by two level 1 personnel who have had a negative reaction to the object seen below and have shown no interest in opening it. In addition, the artifact is to be kept under video surveillance at all times. Unauthorized attempts to open SB699 will be met with severe disciplinary procedures up to and including termination. Any signs of an escape attempt by the contents of SB699 must immediately be reported to a level 4 staff member so that further containment procedure can be initiated. Any containment breach is to be met with full force. SB699 is a clear rectangular case, 2.5 times 1.5 times 1 meter in size. Engraved on one side is the SB Foundation Keter symbol and SCP-17591. Hopefully we never get to that kind of number. Probably we will eventually. Like, I'm pretty sure in the next 30 years, if SCP Foundation keeps growing, we can actually get to that number. Or beyond. The artifact appears to be plexiglass, but it is in fact a super dense polymer, so much stronger and heavier than any material currently manufactured. Excuse me. The weight of the object is estimated at 24,000 kilograms. SB699 shows no seams in its construction. Oh god, I drank too much Rivella. And no obvious means of opening it. It has resisted all attempts to open, damage, or acquire a sample of the material it is composed of. Attempts to acquire a small sample of the material so that it can be reproduced are ongoing. The contents of SB699 are under investigation and currently in dispute among researchers. The contents of SB699 are apparently telepathic and appear differently to most observers, depending upon the desire and psychological state. 90% of observers 9% of observers see the contents in a positive way, as something that they want to possess or to release. These viewers have reported seeing precious metals, artwork, and family members, pets, religious figures, and apparently useful technology contained in SB699, and experience a strongly desire to open the container. Okay, but what about the other 10%? Approximately 9% of the observers have a negative reaction on it, but there's still 1% afterwards. Ooh. Reaction to SB699's content and view something frightening or dangerous. Reported contents have included spiders, snakes, demonic humanoids, and other dangerous SB's artifacts, including SB blank. These observers do not exhibit any desire to release the contents of SB699. Two observers, Dr. Blank and Dr. Blank, have observed the same thing when viewing SB699. They claim it is entirely empty. It's obviously just a prank, Dr. Blank. The contents of SCP-699 are capable of appearing in different forms simultaneously to multiple observers. Other than the form masking telepathy and the transmission of a desire to be released, SCP-699 has not attempted to communicate with anyone. As addendum, SCP-699 was first discovered when it appeared in the third floor break room of Site A3 at 3:14 a.m. On blank blank 2000 blank. Due to its weight, it immediately crashed through several floors of the site, landing undamaged in the sub-basement. Unfortunately, it caused blank million in damage to the building. Released SCP blank and SCP blank was crushed beneath it upon landing. SCP-699 is too heavy to move without causing major structural damage to Site A3, so containment was built around it. A partial report on SCP-699 was found attached to the artifact. This report is for level 4 and above eyes only. Unfortunately, most of the reports was damaged when SCP-699 arrived and it is unreadable. Item SCP-17591, Object Class Keter, date of capture 7/6/2455. Researcher in charge Dr. Blank B. Blank. Notes: Root cause report damaged, self-report damaged, and unreliable. Decides to implement report damaged. Referred to as Protocol C within this document, as this is obviously undesirable and given subject ability to report damaged. Placed in a standard key class containment vessel, report damaged. Add data expunged containment protocol to prevent report damaged after escape, recapture, and extensive damage to Site blank. Ability to influ, report damaged. Protocol Z at a distance of 5, report damage for concern. Escape attempts, continuous subversion of Site blank. Personnel require termination of Dr. Blanks and researcher. Report damage. Escape imminent. Experimental containment procedure. T to be implemented immediately. We believe the inhabitants of the receiving townland lack the report damage and will for many years. Note from the records clerk: I'm not about to mess up our database and call this thing SB-17591. It is SB-699 until further notice. Note from 05 blank: do not start tossing recalcitrant interest artifact in the nearest dimensional portal. It is clearly not safe for many of the items under our control, and there is significant debate among senior staff on whether it should be ever done. And that was it. We finished the 600. Now here is my yeah, here's my list. As you can see, Abyssal Typewriter, I just found it very wholesome and it was a lot of fun to read. So I really wanted that to be on top. Because it was just like such a nice little like relationship that the D class and the SB had, and not every SCP and D class get to have that, so it was really nice to see that. Judgmental Turtle, that's just funny. Just the idea like you say something like, oh, I'm probably gonna do this, and then Judgmental Turtle's like, no, you won't. Joke bandages, it's just messed up, man. Like you get a cut or a bruise and you want to put a bandage on, it just gets worse, but you don't know it. You just think it's getting better. Yeah, that's the eels, fucking disgusting, but it was. I personally think it was written well. Another Stalker, that one is worrisome for sure. It's very worrisome that what people done with it, but it is very much creative that the voodoo dolls just moves and does what the actual person's been doing. The definition of insanity, I mean, that's just, who doesn't like a little bit of a Far Cry 3? Best villain quote, huh? Mystery box, I mean, that one I just put there because I do feel like toxic terraforming, while it is cool, mystery box is like the idea behind it. I like the idea that it's like it always has something. Well, majority of the time it has something, and it's something that you think is either fun or nice or cool for yourself. But then other times it's like something that's like really horrifying. And as I said, toxic terraforming, that's decent. Like it's a good read, but I personally think like the best part about it is definitely the fact that it grows plants that exude some toxic gas. Coward's Way Out. That's that one. I already said, like, I don't think it's a coward's way out, but it makes sense once you read it that it's just it takes you out of your reality, and the longer you listen to it, the more like vegetable like you become, and all you can accept is the sound of that tape. And the Revive the Colors, still a bit unclear about it, but I now know at least a little bit what it does, and I must be looking like I'm absolutely like slurring because I'm constantly like closing my eyes and just saying stuff. Yeah, I'm very tired. It's past midnight and I need to go to sleep. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and tomorrow we'll start the 700s. I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you guys had a good morning, afternoon, evening. Thank you guys